Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Meeting titled Voltage Within. And if we switch over to here, hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly, we have the official music video here on YouTube. We're going to listen through it from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. I should also note before we get into it that I'm going to be giving this song an overall score out of 10 based on various musical criteria, but for now, let's go, let's do it. What do we got? Oh, I like the panning of those guitars. Hey.
Open from the sky, leave my mark, let the world testify. Feel the chaos burning in my veins, kingdoms crumble under my command. I feel the thunder pounding through my core, the storms awaken rising at my call. No force can hold me back, I own this war, cannot be stopped, I'm ready to explode. Riding waves of power,
yeah, fundamentals are being adhered to here. Nice.
Feel the horizon tremble as I rise. Every scream is music to my ears. I'm the mid that devours the sun. I am the thunder, I'm the chosen one. Now crank the fury, I'm a raging flame. A sea of power flooding through my frame. I'm the phoenix, watch me never die. I'm the ocean, I'm the fucking sky. Riding waves of power, I'm losing all control. Come crash into the fire and feel it take your soul. It's the voltage within.
No, this is very good. Left. Yep. No, that's just really well done. Produced by Christina Lego, music production by Rishov Bhattacharjee, and video production by Third Eye Films. You know, they just clearly know what they're doing. No doubt in my mind. These are the band to watch. I don't say that lightly either. We're going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. And so welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Meeting titled Voltage Within. In this section I'm going to be providing an overall song analysis from vocals and lyrics all the way through the production, as well as any applicable constructive critique, and then finally my general thoughts from a listener's perspective. I should also note that I've given the song a score of 8.3 out of 10 based on the criteria, the score on the screen now. That is a rare score. I don't usually give 8s, but I'm very, very happy with this track. There's a lot to appreciate. Before I get into all that, what do we think the track is about? From the very first line, I'll rip the heavens open from the sky, it's effectively about just the inner power, the voltage that just wanted to destroy and just take charge and just be the biggest, strongest version of yourself that you can be, just being pumped up and ready to f shit up. Just that intensity, that power, that force, that voltage coursing through your veins, man. It's just a beautiful thing. And what I love about it is that the whole entire band gets behind him. Like, the entire band gets into it. Everyone just seems like they're having just such a good time with that concept. The voltage hook line, it's such a fundamental thing. Having a hook line that people can sing along to. I hate categorizing bands and, comparing them to others. AC/DC comes to mind for me when I listen to this kind of stuff, but these guys are a different beast. I love that we've got the catchy hook lines there, we've got an interesting structure to it. I love the guitar solos, but we were talking about the story here and the vocals, and feel it take your soul as a voltage within, exactly. Because it's not just about they're feeling this. They're inviting the music to make the listener feel pumped up and sort of like on cloud nine as well. So it's a shared experience. They just are doing, again, these things where they interact with the listener. They're trying to invite them into their world. It's just really clever, sensible music and songwriting. People can directly relate and want to be a part of this. It's very cool. Very cool. And it doesn't work with all styles of music, but it does with this. The vocals though, I love the vocal technique. I like the fry. I like the distortion on the effects chain of it. I like how forceful and intense whilst also being so charismatic it is. I like that we're able to sort of like kind of shout some of these lines and they're visceral, but that we're also able to do these kind of vocal melodies and harmonies in these chorus sections that are a nice kind of foil to that. I like that we're a bit more colorful there with our note choices and we work well alongside the guitar, bass and drum parts. I also dig that we just chant voltage and we don't just do it once, we do it after the solo section. It's just like, wow, they just understand that they can do more than just one style of vocal and they can go between them effectively. So it's very good, and they sound like whatever they're doing on the microphone is sustainable technique, very comfortable in the head and chest voice. Again, the distortion, as I mentioned, was a stylistic post-processing thing. I like the kind of grittiness of it. Distortion is an electronic effect as well, so the actual electrical element is very good. It's like they're sizzling with that. They're coursing through their veins. And ultimately, yeah, just again, it's more sensible decisions. It's really good. But I also kind of love that it's just 30 seconds without the vocals as well. They have enough confidence in the rest of the band to be able to bring things up on their own, that they don't need to overcomplicate things with the narrative. It's just so neat to have that confidence in ourselves and our ability to write music and tell a story, but also to keep everyone involved and have their time in the sun. The track itself though starts with the guitars just on one side, and it's this kind of rocky, kind of bluesy power chordal element there, kind of da 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 da, working with those fourths there. It's very kind of effective. It's got a great sort of groove to it, some syncopated and on-beat elements there, nice and colorful in the mid-range. And we have the bass kind of introduce itself a little bit after the other guitar comes on the other side, and the track starts to fill up, and it's a bit of a staircase, but that's okay because we're introducing the elements slowly. The audio-visual experience with this video is you can see the different members coming in at that point in time and getting a feel for what they're about. And when we have the drums come in, we have a relatively minimalist kind of like snare and tom fill with some eighth notes, and we have a grunt from the vocalist letting them know that he's there too, but he's rearing to go, but he's letting the other musicians have their time to do what they need to do before he comes in. It's just getting that kind of feeling, because if you can imagine, if we take the story into consideration, the vocalist is getting lost in the music and getting ready to fight on the mic. It's great. And what I like is that the vocals are by themselves in some of those verse sections there, and they just are allowed to pierce the veil. Like, they just are present. You've heard everything else, then it comes down and you've just got that open expanse there. It's not the first time that I've heard this being done, but it is nonetheless effective. There's just a very simple call and response between the guitar, bass, and drums and the vocalist, a connection, a chemistry between them, which is really important. You know, you need to know that they're aware of each other. And it's a very simple transition there between the verses and choruses there. It's easy to follow along to and sing along to, even if you don't know the words. The melodies vocally are catchy and the chords don't have any sort of uncomfortable moments where they're kind of dissonant or confusing or distracting there. It's all about the groove of the kit with those very sort of quarter, 8th and 16th note grooves there. The bass typically rolling with the root notes and being sort of foundational with the approach there to sort of bolster things. Because a lot of it is either bar chord or power chords on the guitars there. The solo section working well through those pentatonics and the upper range of the single coil was effective. Lots of different sort of palm mutes and hammer-ons and bendy bits. And I like the fact that he's allowed to sort of, or that he has allowed himself, should I say, to simply be a bit more freeform in the approach to it. Like, there are some staggered notes and pregnant pauses with that lead playing there, which insinuate that he's aware of the tension that can be created by sort of distancing yourself from the existing groove and rhythmic patterns of the surrounding elements. And it's a kind of dusty, kind of scratchy tone to the guitar that isn't overproduced either. It kind of harkens back to a lot of the tone of guitars within the 70s and 80s, especially on like kind of a Stratocaster kind of situation there. You're not getting an active pickup EMG tone or something like that. It's going to have a bit of kind of like sizzle to it. But I just like the fact that we also had the guitar at the end of the solo section on that kind of fifth go through, bring itself up and allow itself to kind of join the ranks back with the other instruments there. Going back into a riff that effectively was more guitar bass oriented, and it was the hook line, and then you were back into that kind of chorus section, if I'm not mistaken. No, we weren't. We just finished. We just had voltage being chanted out. Never mind. So there you go. It's even less predictable. Like, you could have gotten a lot of bands will put a chorus at the end and then have that extra bit of leeway, but these guys were like, nah, we're good, we're done. We've had enough. We've done enough to sort of communicate things that we had. I do like the arpeggios that we have in certain guitar parts in those choruses as well. They're quite colorful on some of those tails there. It's nice to not just play chords the entire time outside of the lead section there. It's nice to explore the mid-range. But ultimately, again, the drums are very comfortable across the chords, 8th and 16th note grooves there, working some tom fills and stuff in there, not over-articulating or over-complicating stuff. Some interesting crescendo balance there and moments of like kind of suspense. Ultimately, very, very capable performance. Thematically, it's just very powerful and boisterous and loud, and it's meant to be. Again, voltage within is meant to sound powerful and intense and in your face. The guitar solo is an explosion of sound and the feeling of kind of waiting to be able to sort of release that. The vocals mirror that as well. I think that if you'd overcomplicated the harmonies or like the main sort of melodies and stuff like that and made them extensions, it would have been too much. It would have been unnecessary here. Having power chords and major and minor chords there allows you to feel, I think, more of the tone and the emphasis of the words themselves as they come through, along with how they're sort of explained. And I just think, we don't need, this just needs to be a banger, and they achieved that. There's enough going on structurally to make it intriguing or entertaining throughout, nice and loud. There's dynamic range to it, but like also nicely glued, not out of place, really tight performance. Studio recording, mixing, and mastering is fantastic as well. Really happy with the quality of the vocal production as well as the various guitar takes, drums, and bass. Again, interesting to have the guitar on one side at the start and then kind of fill on the other side. Bass well leveled in the mix, nicely compressed and sort of mirrored in the low end. Drums, nice sort of force and punchiness to the kick, snare, drum, tom patterns, their cymbals, without sort of overshadowing any parts. The guitar's nice spread out. There was a nice tone to the guitar that allowed it to arpeggiate and do sort of power chord elements, and then also the lead tone was distinct as well. And as I mentioned, vocals had a nice sort of distortion effect on them, a bit of sizzle there as well as EQ, reverbs, etc. And it was nicely glued. There was dynamic range again from a production perspective, such as when the vocals were by themselves. Nice and loud, bit of pumping for side chaining, but ultimately, great on the bus compressor and limiter, they were handled well. No applicable constructive critique, just a really special song. A great first impression to their work. From a general listener's perspective, It may seem like I'm glazing excessively. For me, when I understand the kind of music that a band is trying to create, I can then grade it more accurately. I think here, if they were trying to do like a 10-minute track and it was 10 minutes of this, it'd clearly be too much, but they understood the form factor they wanted, the approach with the style of instruments, the vocal style here. And I just think ultimately all the different elements and components fit together really well. And so this might not be the most sophisticated track you'll hear in the entire world, but it didn't need to be. That wasn't what they were going for here. It's punk, it's hella heavy, and I love it to pieces. And I wish them all the best in luck in future. Because thank you for watching my review of this track from an 8 meeting titled, hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly, apologies if I'm not, titled Voltage. Within, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via the various social medias and YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next SB Reacts. Spiderhands out.